Hey guys, welcome back to Metanoia. My name is Carrie Jane, and I just want to start off real quick with apologizing for the quality of this video. I had every intention to film the Christmas message video upstairs where there's natural light and where you can see me better. It's just my normal setup that you've seen me in most of my videos, but I've been very sick. I had a stomach virus, and just setting up upstairs would involve me, going up and down the stairs a lot of times, and I just don't have the energy for that today. So I'm camping out in my bedroom for now. And I had much better plans for this video. I was hoping to be much more like mentally level-headed and just physically able, and I'm just not, and I'm sorry. But I am determined. I am very determined to get the Christmas messages video out to you guys. So regardless of how I feel, I'm showing up for you, and I hope you guys are doing okay. And let's talk about my playlist for a little bit before I get into the topic of this video, which is going to be a little bit more serious than normal. I started this playlist a couple of years ago. It started with a Kuan Yin video, and I made that video around Christmas time. It was about many things, but it was kind of central to Christmas time. And then the following year, I just was inspired to make an entire space on my channel dedicated towards Christmas. So this playlist is dedicated towards Christmas and for those who are struggling this time of year, because this is a very hard time of the year for many people, as I've probably said in previous videos. As you all know, this is, for a lot of us, a time of the year where we're pressured to be in the Christmas spirit, or in whatever spirit that is the holiday season that you may or may not celebrate. We're pressured to be around family, and a lot of us don't have family. Or perhaps we do have family, but we can't be with them because we can't afford to. Maybe they live far away. Or maybe we have to work, so Christmas Day and Christmas Eve, we're just working because we can't afford to take time off. So this is a very isolating experience, and I just feel like this is a very small thing that I can do to help anyone out there who is struggling in this kind of situation. And for the longest time, I was trying to figure out what to do for the video this year. And originally I was going to do something very warm, very, just heartwarming and, compassionate and, maybe even childlike, something that's fun. Like, read you my favorite Christmas book when I was a kid or something like that, something vlog style and just relaxed. But recently it has been drawn to my attention over many outlets online towards suicide, and that is because suicides are unfortunately on the rise. It's the 10th leading cause of death in America, and suicide rates in kids even are higher now, which is terrifying and really says something about the state of things. What that says, probably many different kinds of things, and that's a topic for another time. But it needs to catch our attention. And while the time has been passing throughout December, and, this kind of just kept coming up, I was eventually inspired to perhaps skip, or not skip, but, just kind of like put the warm, fuzzy feeling Christmas video on the back burner for a year, to really just talk about something that needs to be talked about, which is suicide awareness and just the courage to live. And I think that's going to be the title of this video. And the reason why I say that is because I am going to be real with you. Like, I have a very different view to these things than most people do when it comes to depression, when it comes to mental illness, when it comes to these things. And I see something like a suicidal thoughts or a suicidal people as a symptom of something much deeper, something very real that goes beyond a person who just needs to get therapy, who just needs to get medication. And yes, many of those people need to seek help throughout those avenues. And if you are watching this video right now and haven't pursued those avenues right now, I recommend trying them. But also, I think that there is something much deeper to experiencing a suicidal experience, like just having like suicidal thoughts, or maybe even worse, like actually trying suicide, having many failed suicide attempts. I think that there is something to this that's unfortunately a lot of our current medical professionals and a lot of our current limited understanding, unfortunately, because we don't fund this kind of stuff in America, at least, our limited understanding that is not really seeing the full picture as to why this is happening to us. And so, in my opinion, I think that a lot of the times when a person is going through suicidal thoughts, it is that the soul is craving a death, but not the death that that person's biology, their humanness, is perceiving. It doesn't mean actual death. It means an end to the way of life. And it's just not going to feel like that, unfortunately, for many people. It's just going to feel like the only way out is for me to end everything. The only way out is for my heart to stop beating. And that's just not true. It's just not the full truth at all. It's just, there's so much more at work. And I think that many times, especially in youth, when, especially for kids, when there's no, severe experiences happening to them that is threatening their survival, that would push them towards committing something like suicide, like it's a child that wants to commit suicide versus an adult that wants to commit suicide are two very, very different things, because usually that is because that adult is at their wit's end. They have no one to go to. They might have tried a few things already, and most likely it's because they're in poverty and they just don't know how to get out. Whereas a child that is living at home, that has a roof overhead and a way to feed themselves, and, some adults to reach out to, like, what does that say about us? And what does that say about that child who still wants to end their life? And I think, like I said, I think it's just that the soul is craving for a complete 180 of the way that things have gone for that person up until that point. The soul wants a death. The soul wants a soul death, not a physical death, but a child or even an adult, because we live in such a false world. We live in such a false paradigm that makes no sense and has barely any truth at hand at any given moment. We don't see this. We are almost like blocked from seeing that it is not actual biological death that we seek, but the death of the way that our lives are going right now. And that is why I'm calling this the courage to live, because if you have the courage to mentally put yourself in a situation where you're going to end your life, if you're at that point, because that does take a lot of courage, and that's where I'm going to get a lot of people coming at me for that. That kind of thoughts is a courageous thought. If you have that kind of courage to just want to end it all, I promise you 100% you have the courage to live. choose any other option, literally anything. And so now I'm just going to read you what I wrote about this while I was on the couch and not able to move earlier, okay? I wrote here that I promise you, if you have the courage to end your life, you have the courage to live. Instead of ending your life physically, end it in another way. Start it in a new drastic manner. Take the leap towards something with reckless abandon. That is a death. When you decide to end your relationships, move to a completely new place with nothing, buy a plane ticket, quit your job, these are all forms of death. When you're lost, I wrote here, you think that life starts and ends with what only your eyes can see, and only what you're experiencing in this very moment. And I actually think that that is what people are talking about when they say tomorrow is going to get better. Like, you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. A lot of people struggling in this state who reach out, you know, a lot of the response to that is, you don't know how things are going to be tomorrow, okay? This will end. Everything comes to an end. Everything's going to change. And I think that that is said because when you're going through something so intense, it's so hard to zoom out of that. It's so hard to, like, not just see what's directly in front of you. It's a type of internal trauma that is just so hard to articulate. And I'm doing the best I can, so bear with me. I just wanted to express my opinion on that before I say some things that you've probably been told many times before. If you are a person watching this who has struggled or is struggling, whether you're young or older, doesn't matter. And that's that you're not alone. I mean, it's just, you can look at it from many different angles. You can look at the numbers. You know, if you're an older person struggling right now, because I kind of already went into youth, just, kind of do a few things. I would do a few things. I would take a step back, recognize that we truly are living in some difficult times, okay? And I think you're all very brave. I think you're all so brave and so courageous for choosing to incarnate on this crazy, crazy planet called Earth, to live a life where we would be part of this vast, intricate, amazing, yet very difficult story. To be a part of that is sacred, no matter what we're going through. And it's all of our stories. And so it doesn't matter if I'm, sitting in my bedroom thousands of miles away and you're sitting in your bedroom thousands of miles away. Whatever you're going through is our experience. This is what we come to when we work past the illusions of separation. And this is why I feel compelled to make this playlist. This is why I feel like I need to do something. When you heal yourself, when you work on yourself, when you do any kind of reflection and just the labor that is this life, just working through our circumstances and working on ourselves, and you get a success. It is all of our successes. It truly is. And we never get to feel that because we are so isolated from one another. And we're so deep in our own illusions that I would even say the human race has forgotten what love is to a large extent, unfortunately. And I think that's the way that you're feeling because of this is validated. I think that I honestly would take personal offense if I was sitting in a office with a therapist and that person was trying to make me believe that everything is okay, because it's not okay. And many of us have made the choice, rather than to get out of here, out of this nightmare story, to put any last reserves that we have in ourselves to try to make this a different story for all of us in whatever way that we can. Even if it's a small thing, even if it's just being kind to people, in the street, even if it's just that, you have no idea the kind of impact that you leave on this planet. You have no idea what you are. None of us really truly do until we're out of it. So just keep this in mind. You are so much more, and we are all so much more than we could possibly even fathom in this life with our limitations. And I would even extend that to say that this life and this story is so much more. It goes so much way, way beyond anything that we can fathom as well. And so I'm just going to ask you to just reflect on this. Just watch this video and, let this sit with you. And know that my heart goes out to you. And I truly hope that you are okay. And I know and I promise that you have the courage to live. That I can say with certainty. There's a lot that I can't say with certainty. But I can say with certainty that all of you watching right now, even if you're not struggling particularly right now, maybe you had in the past or maybe never, who knows. It doesn't really matter. If you're here right now watching this, you have the courage to live. And I think you're doing a great job. I really do. So, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to check out my other content on my channel if you are compelled to. And let me know what you're doing this Christmas, I guess. Let me know, how you're doing this Christmas, or this holiday season rather, I should say, how you are coping with any stresses maybe that you have or perhaps in the past have had, or and give me your happy stories as well, because I find that not all Christmases are great. In fact, I can reflect on a few very terrible Christmases that I've had in the past, but I've also had some very, very amazing Christmases, and so I would do it all over again. I would endure the terrible Christmases to have the beautiful ones. And I'm very grateful for what I have in my life, and I'm so grateful for you guys to take the time to watch this long video and to just hear me go on about this and to be here with me. Thank you for being here with me. I love you all so much. Have a lovely holiday season and take care.